Hey everyone, welcome to Promethean Times on the 4th of June 2022. I am General, and this is Breaker. Hello, Breaker, how you doing?
Captain Jack Sparrow, live from the set of Aquaman. Mega-Pints all around, lads and laddies. Savvy.
Yes, the good old Mega-Pint. That is a million pints, I believe. But which is a lot. Uh, so yeah. Welcome to the Promethean Tides. Remember to like and subscribe. It does help us out. And if you want to leave a comment about anything that we're saying, whether you agree or disagree with us, leave one down below. We will read it. And also, we are on Spotify. Just search Promethean Tides, you'll find us, in case you want to listen to us not on YouTube. So, there is that. On today's show, I guess the first three topics that we'll go into are Hunter Biden's search history. That came out this week. Also, Joe Biden gave just a brilliant discussion, or not a brilliant speech on gun control and how he wants to definitely not violate the Second and Sixth Amendment. And also, probably the largest news story, it's the Johnny Depp Amber Heard court case. Now, neither Breaker nor I actually have been following this court case that much. Because it's kind of more in the celebrity pop culture kind of things. But we will be having my girlfriend in to inform us about some of the details because she has been following that, so she'll be on a bit later. But yeah, that's just the preamble. So we can get right into it. So Hunter Biden's search history came out this week. Did you happen to follow this at all, Breaker?
No, I haven't been following it that closely, but I have a sinking suspicion what isn't part of that search history is a search for how to properly dispose of a laptop and not get your data stolen.
Right, yeah. So, uh, apparently his search history was leaked, and it contained a lot of porn, as one would expect. And Joe Biden, he seems to have some interesting, I guess, tastes. You're looking at maybe some stuff about crack addicted MILFs and lonely widows. Not really a huge surprise there, but honestly, I don't think that is much of a news story because who would feel good about having their search history exposed? All things considered, actually relatively tame.
I would be much more interesting if there were some quote-unquote confidential business dealings with foreign potentates in there. That would be much more interesting than crack whore MILF porn.
Yeah. I think I for one, I think that I've looked up worse shit than lonely widows on Pornhub, and Breaker, you probably have also looked up grosser shit. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed, honestly. I was expecting much more lollies.
Somehow I was too. Yeah, I was surprised about the complete lack of that sort of thing.
It's strange, isn't it? Because you might suspect certain people in positions of power these days, especially these days, to be fans of cheese pizzas as well as Mega-Pints of various substances, both legal and questionably legal.
So the one interesting thing I think that did come out of this was that Hunter Biden apparently sent a Pornhub link to Joe Biden. As you do, when you find a particularly good Pornhub link, you send it to your dad. I mean, who doesn't do that kind of stuff?
He sent me that porn link, and I looked at that, and there wasn't any hairy legs. And I said to him, like, I'm very disappointed in you, Hunter. There's no hairy legs with hairs that stand up and turn blonde in the sun. America, you know the thing.
America. Uh, uh, yeah. So the one thing that I do want to comment on this is that it is a very I guess salacious story. I don't think that it's particularly important, but it will get your I guess your average normie to maybe kind of pay attention to what's going on with Hunter Biden and maybe look a little bit deeper with some of the other information that has come out about Hunter Biden, and maybe this will just get a few people that otherwise wouldn't be paying attention to pay a bit more attention. I think that if there's any good of this, that's probably it. Of course, the other thing is I guess Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were maybe like sharing phone numbers, and so it's possible that maybe Hunter was actually just sending this link to himself because he was also using his dad's phone number. But then there are a lot of implications about, well, if they were sharing phone numbers, like, I mean, what could that mean?
That might mean that technically Joe Biden could be potentially implicated in things that he technically wasn't responsible for, and vice versa. So there's like this layer of plausible deniability as questionable and suspiciously corrupt politicians are sometimes known to engage in.
Right. So, I mean, you have this situation where it's like, okay, if they're sharing numbers, then it might have been Joe Biden that was actually sending this to himself, or any combination of that. It could be that Hunter was sending this to himself, Joe Biden was sending this to himself, Joe Biden was sending this to Hunter, Hunter was sending this to Joe Biden. Any combination of that could be the case. And then also, if they're sharing numbers, what if Hunter was posing as Joe to get like further into Burisma or to enact other shady deals in the Ukraine, or maybe Biden was posing as Hunter in order to like manipulate things without having his name on it. Like, there's a lot of potential for shady dealings here.
Well, I'm a person who that's a very interesting theory you have there, but I'm a person who likes to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I have an alternative theory that Joe Biden is just so monumentally disappointed in his son Hunter that he was actually searching for crack whore MILFs in an attempt to potentially create a new crack addict son that he could potentially be more proud of.
Because like his first crack addict son didn't turn out that well. He's like, gotta try again with another crack addict.
I need the crack baby that's built from the ground up as a crack baby. You see, Hunter, his problem was he got addicted to crack later in life. I need to get them while they're young, just like my education policy. It needs to happen like right when they're in preschool or earlier, potentially in the womb. America.
He's like, we can rebuild him. We can perfect him.
We're going to build back better. I'm going to build a better, stronger, faster crackhead son. America.
Right. Okay. Well, so that was what came out from the leak. Honestly, it wasn't anything too newsworthy, but it was mildly entertaining. But what was a little bit more impactful was the speech that Joe Biden gave this week in regards to gun control. So that was a thing that happened. I took some bits out of the speech, some highlights, and I think that this is I don't think that anything that he's proposing is actually going to go through. But if it did, there's some really questionable and potentially dangerous stuff here. Did you get a chance to watch any of the speech, Breaker?
I don't believe I did. Mostly these days, I'm more interested in philosophical things, unfortunately.
Well, I don't blame you. I think a lot of politics it stopped making sense a while ago.
Yeah, so if I wanted to see a fucking Alzheimer's-ridden corpse puppet, like, mumble incoherently about politics, I would just go to the projects.
Right. So, of course, this was in response to the shooting that occurred at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. And obviously, a great tragedy. Probably, a tragedy that could have been helped if, the police had decided to enter the elementary school and, do something.
Well, you see, the problem is if they'd have done that, they could have been shot.
See, that's the thing that people don't realize, right? Yeah, there were children being shot, but what about the police officers? What about them?
I'm not going in there, I'll get shot. Why do you hate police officers? I thought you were one of those Blue Lives Matter motherfuckers. Come on, man, America.
Right. Yeah. Because the best thing to possibly do is just disarm the citizenry, and then show the citizenry that once they're disarmed, the police won't even take care of them anyway. It's fucking brilliant.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah. So.
Well, believe it or not, the police technically don't have any legal obligation to protect you. This is actually like a legal precedent. Like a police officer's duty does not include the duty to actually protect you from harm.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah. Which is a little bit strange, but I guess that's the way the world works. So I'll just read out some sections of his speech, and I think that as the speech goes on, it actually gets more and more terrible. So I'm reading these in order of when they were said in the speech, but it gets worse. Don't worry. So Joe Biden says, "For so many of you at home, I want to be very clear. This is not about taking away anyone's guns. It's not about vilifying gun owners. In fact, we believe we should be treating responsible gun owners as an example of how every gun owner should behave." Okay, so that on the surface, that sounds all right. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, responsibility and accountability. This is all part of the plan. This is part of building back better. He wants to make better, more responsible, more accountable gun owners. You see, America, come on, man. You know the thing.
Well, and when it comes to responsibility and accountability, I can think of no better example than the Biden administration. I mean, they're pillars of this sort of thing.
Well, just look at his personal life too. Just look at his family life. Like he made like an incredible dynamo of crack-headed hedonism.
But Breaker, responsible crack-headed hedonism. Okay, keyword there.
Yeah, very responsible. Like the laptop left at the repair store, that repair guy was trusted with that laptop to return it to its rightful owner. So this is all his fault.
Right. So Biden goes on to say, for example, Machine guns have been federally regulated for nearly 90 years. And this is still a free country. This isn't about taking away anyone's rights. It's about protecting children. It's about protecting families. It's about protecting whole communities. So I heard this, and I got a flashback back to the Bush administration when they were trying to put forward the Patriot Act, where I think that almost the exact same shit was said. The Patriot Act isn't about taking away anyone's rights. It's about protecting the children and protecting families.
Yeah, this is all part of like freaking postmodern realpolitik. It's all deception and centrifuge with no actual substance. It's just this superficial, emotional veneer of forms that doesn't coalesce into anything substantive. And insofar as it does coalesce into anything that could be considered substantive, it is a completely opaque, non-transparent, secret tribunal that can convict you of crimes in secret, sort of like the kind of activities that were one of the reasons this country was founded in the fucking first place.
I agree with you. It's all like postmodern gobbledygook that is layers upon layer of bullshit. But the thing that it's all resting on, the thing that this whole system is designed to protect, is just so that they can keep doing the spirit cooking. They fucking love the spirit cooking.
Apparently, they're going to become King George 2.0, I guess, is where they're going. Like, literally, the fucking Patriot Act and the secret FISA court shit, that's literally just King George's, like, Bill of fucking Retainer, like, Crown Court bullshit that you don't need to be present for the hearing to be fined or charged or have a letter from His Majesty saying that you owe me this, motherfucker.
Right, yeah, it's hard to tell what even is happening in politics anymore, but he goes on to say that we need to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. So, Breaker, here's a question for you. What's an assault weapon?
I think it's a meaningless fucking throwaway term that ultimately means nothing. Insofar as it could be construed to mean anything at all, it is a black, mechanical, square, inorganically shaped weapon of a nondescript size and functionality that looks scary and invokes a negative emotional response, therefore ban it. I think that's the closest definition to assault weapon I can actually think of.
Okay, now Breaker, let me put this one forward. Let's say that I had an M16, which I believe is not, you're not allowed to have that as a civilian. But let's say that I painted it pink.
Well, then, you see, it's not black, scary, and intimidating anymore. And believe it or not, you can look up, they did studies on this, where they had just random samples of people look at different firearms. And they were like 70% more likely to classify metallic and black and square-shaped firearms, regardless of size, as assault weapons. And they were much less likely to classify things that were made of wood and round and organic-looking as assault weapons. It's pure fucking aesthetic, mechanical or logical functionality underpinning any of this. It's just like black gun scary.
Right. So. Maybe the left and the right could make a compromise. So, Americans are allowed to own whatever weapon they want, but if it's scary enough, they have to paint it pink, and then I think that would make everyone happy.
You remember Fortnite, like that pink bear, like that fursuited bear character in Fortnite? Like, just have her weapon set. Just like pink pistols with teddy bears on the sides of them, and a pink M16 with a drum magazine that looks like fucking cutie pie chicken eyes or some shit, and then you see it's not scary intimidating anymore. Or get like Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic collection, where you got like 5 different weapons. You've got a Browning, like fucking assault rifle, full auto belt fed, but it looks like Freddy Fazbear, and it's smiling, and it's got bear eyes on the top of it, and it like the head like moves and says like "Happy birthday," and then you're fine. It's not scary anymore.
Right. So it's like, okay, if it's like an M16, then you got to paint it pink. But if it's like scary enough, like if it's a fucking like if it's like a light machine gun, then you have to paint it rainbow and maybe put like a little like hammer and sickle on it, and then it's like totally chill.
Cover it in Pokemon stickers.
Ah, there you go. Because it can't possibly be an assault weapon if it's rainbow and covered in Pokemon stickers. It's chill. So Biden went on to say that they need to strengthen background checks, enact safe storage laws and red flag laws, and repeal the immunity that protects gun manufacturers from liability. So strengthen the background checks. I'm not even sure exactly what that would mean. That's incredibly loose language. Enact safe storage laws. So this would mean, he said later, we should have safe storage laws and personal liability for not locking up your gun. So basically, if your gun is not in a gun safe, you are held liable. If a home invader breaks into your house, then you just you ask him to wait by the front door patiently and politely. Then you take out your gun and then you tell him, okay, continue invading my home, and then it's all good, right? Like that's how things ought to operate.
Yeah, the more I think about this and the more you describe this, like this is just an anathema to the entirety of the fucking Constitution. What you just described technically violates the Second, Fourth, and Sixth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment, because, okay, how are you going to enforce this? You're basically creating a law that says if you own this specifically ill-defined fucking thing that we get to change the definition of whatever it fucking suits us for politically expedient reasons, then basically police officers, in the course of enforcing this law, can just search your house at any time and make sure it's in the safe.
Oh yeah, I guess that by owning a gun, they would have to be able to come in and check on you every once in a while. Make sure that it's locked up. Do like a surprise checkup. And, oh god, it's like, okay, at what point, like, where does it say in the fucking Constitution that this is the purview of the federal government? Like, this is so clearly unconstitutional. Like, fuck all of this shit. But look, what Biden wants, Biden gets. Goddammit. So he goes on to say, and this is where we get into like some really, these last two bits are the really dangerous parts. Biden says, we should also have national red flag laws so that a parent, a teacher, a counselor can flag for a court that a child, a student, a patient is exhibiting violent tendencies, threatening classmates, or experiencing suicidal thoughts. It makes them a danger to themselves or to others. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's pure communism. That's like the young Octoberists. That's like the frickin' child soldiers from 1984. They want to turn children into the ultimate tattletales so that they can enforce their bullshit through the naivete of children. Say, okay, little Timmy, if you point to the bad man and say that the bad man is bad, you'll get a lollipop.
I mean, just consider like how that could be used against the American public, right? So, in just like, not even assuming that the government would misuse this power. Let's say that I knew someone, and that someone didn't like me, but we know each other, but he doesn't like me for whatever reason. He could go to the government and you could say, this general guy, he's been exhibiting bad behaviors. You should take away his guns. And then the government can come in and take away my guns just because he fucking said so, I guess. So that's one possibility. Also, the government could just come in and say, hey, we've decided, as the government, based off of the data that we've collected from the NSA, we've decided that, you know what, you're a danger. So, we're just gonna go ahead and take away your guns. Like, this is so like dystopian, in the way that this would actually pan out, and It's
Well,
crazy.
the government could use that very effectively, but also another weird loophole this kind of opens is technically, like, even 100% anonymous people, all they need to know is your full legal name, and they could make an anonymous tip call on a fucking burner phone and say, hey, full legal name so and so, I'm kind of suspicious of this person, might be planning something illegal and illicit that involves firearms, maybe you should check their house, and then hang up with zero accountability whatsoever. Now, that could be like some type of government secret wet worker doing that, or that could be just a random fucking internet troll that thinks like, hey, bro, see where this guy's streaming? I'm gonna make a red flag call, and he's gonna get swatted. Check it out.
Right. Like the amount of danger that, I mean, it's just it's insanity. Like, is what this is. And then, Biden, in his infinite dementia, he saved the best for last. He said the House of Representatives have, and by the way, I just want to say I took this transcript from the New York Times, so of course they decided to not include all of the misspeaking and the thing. That was.
It's like fucking Froghorn Leghorn. It's President Froghorn Leghorn.
Right. So, of course, this is much clearer than how the speech actually went. But
they might have even added shit and put their own ideas in there for all you know. If you weren't actually watching this motherfucker say this, he could have just started talking about the blonde hair of his legs and how he learned about roaches out of fucking nowhere. You don't know.
That's true. That is true. So the Biden says the House of Representatives already passed key measures we named, expanding background checks to cover nearly all gun sales, including at gun shows and online sales, getting rid of a loophole that allows a gun sale to go through after 3 business days, even if the background check has not been completed. Okay, so this one is the fucking worst. And this is where the violation of both the, I believe, the second and maybe the sixth.
The Sixth Amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, there's a 3-day background check, and if the federal government doesn't get back to you in 3 days, then you get the gun. And this actually makes sense because otherwise you can apply for the gun, apply for the background check. And then you come back 3 days later, and the government goes, oops, we need some more time, give us another week. You come back a week later. Government goes, oops, we need more time, come back in a month. Come back in a month. Oops, we need more time, come back in fucking 13 years. The government could just perpetually say, we're still working on it, and you actually can never get the gun.
Like, malicious inaction of the government. They can literally just sit on their hands on fucking purpose in direct contravention of the Sixth Amendment and the violation of due process. Through government inaction, impose upon you a type of enforcement of, well, a non-enforcement in this particular case would have the desired result for them, so that they can just literally do nothing, but it has legal weight behind it that binds you.
Yeah, and it's
just like they could put you in a jail cell for like, oh, this guy's supposed to stand trial for this crime. Well, why don't we just lose the paperwork? And I think he deserves, like, I don't know, arbitrary number of years in that jail cell. And we'll just never actually have the trial for this amount of time. And then when we finally, quote unquote, refine the paperwork and say, oh, I guess time served. You're free to go now. Fuck you.
Right. So this would, this would basically allow the federal government to, outside of the red flag laws where they could take away your guns, this would allow the federal government to never have to issue any guns. And you couldn't even, to cover nearly all gun sales. So, like, even private sales. So let's say that I had a son or something, and I wanted to give him a gun. I believe that this, in Joe Biden's planning, this would also apply to that. That, like, you can't even give your gun to a family member, which is, this is effectively what Joe Biden is doing here. It's effectively just a ban on guns. Period. It's so much more extreme than even like what Beta O'Rourke wants to put forward.
Yeah, I don't think one, he doesn't have the popular support, and two, when the freaking elections roll around in this November, I don't think he's going to have the political support either, because there's probably like a massive red wave coming. So, for all intents and purposes, my prediction is none of this ever goes anywhere. But he will pretend like he did with the that vaccine mandate he tried to do, where all companies with over 100 employees must mandatorily vaccinate. And even after the Sixth Circuit Court struck that down, he was like, his whole administration was like, yeah, we're planning to go ahead with that. Yeah, until the day where it was supposed to happen, and then they just switched the topic to something else. They just kept up the appearance of, yeah, this is totally going to happen, and then just pivot to something else and hope their actual voter base didn't notice.
Yeah,
which they probably didn't, because leftoids.
Yeah, this certainly, I'm like 95% confident that this isn't going anywhere, and even if it did, like the Supreme Court would have to shoot it down. But it shows, I guess, what the left really wants. Even if they can't get it, it's what they want, and it's at least they're being honest, so that's good.
And then when it's time for the rubber to meet the road, they'll be just like, hey guys, look at that butterfly. Ooh, and then the ADHD voter base would be like, ooh, butterfly. Ooh, yay.
So anyway, that was Hunter Biden's speech. Brilliant stuff.
I think you mean Joe Biden's speech.
I mean, sorry, Joe Biden.
Right. This fucking disgusting fake news. What are you talking? We got a reputation to uphold, goddammit. We got to make sure to accurately represent Alzheimer's Howdy Do.
Right. Yeah, so fantastic speech by Joe Biden. We should all be clapping. But now
clap,
we will be getting into the probably the largest story of the week. This was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard court case. This has been going on for I think a few months now. It finally wrapped up this week. Breaker, you nor I have been paying that much attention to it because it's kind of more the pop culture side of things. But you know who has been paying at least a decent amount of attention to it, at least more than Breaker and I, is my girlfriend, who is actually joining us here so that she can maybe explain some of the finer details of this court case to us, because we are ignorant and she is less ignorant. So in the same way that I am general, and that's not my real name, this is Coiii, my girlfriend. Hello, Coiii. How are you doing?
Hello everyone. Hi, General. Hi, Breaker. What's up?
Yay. Mega-Pints all around, lass. We're going to fill up the Olympic swimming pool, and we're going to drink 250,000 gallons of red wine. It constitutes a Mega-Pint.
I didn't know that this was a thing, but I guess one of the lawyers said Mega-Pints, and in metric, mega is a million. So I guess the lawyer was arguing that Johnny Depp in a single sitting drank 1 million pints of wine. That's a lot of wine. But let's actually go through some of the details of this court case. So
right.
So this is there was a previous case that happened in the UK. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if you know anything about this, but do you know anything about this?
So I actually don't know the full details of that trial that happened in the UK, but okay. So I thought I would start with like a brief background of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, if that's okay with you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys know Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but they're both actors. So they first met in 2009 when they were filming a movie called The Rum Diary, and back then they were dating other people. So Johnny Depp was still with um Vanessa Paradis. She's like a French singer, and then Amber Heard was with Tasha Van Reed, uh, a woman. So Amber is bisexual. So they were both still in a relationship when they first met. And then in 2012, so Johnny Depp broke up with his partner, Amber broke up with her partner. And then in 2012, they started dating. And then it was a whirlwind romance. And then in 2014, they got engaged. And then in 2015, they got married in a private ceremony. So after 15 months of marriage, Amber this is in 2016, filed for divorce. And this was publicized. So when she filed for divorce in court, she also claimed that's when she claimed that Johnny Depp um, was abusing her. Right. So after 15 months of marriage, Amber filed for divorce. This was in 2016. And that's when she claimed that Johnny Depp was abusing her, that she was a victim of abuse by Johnny Depp. And then the divorce was finalized in 2016, and then she received a $7 million settlement. And then in December of 2018, Amber Heard wrote an op-ed which was published in Washington Post about experience as a physical abuse victim. So in this article, Johnny Depp was not named. So she made sure to not mention Johnny Depp's name. But it was clear, it was obvious that she was talking about her air quotes experience with Johnny Depp. So in 2019, Johnny Depp sued Amber for $50 million for defamation over that Washington Post article. So he filed that case in Fairfax, Virginia, because apparently the anti-SLAPP law is much weaker in Virginia than in LA. So I think I'm not really familiar with what the anti-SLAPP, that's SLAPP law, I'm not really sure what that is, but it's a law that allows a trial to be publicized, to be televised. And so Johnny Depp wanted, so it was very strategic on Johnny Depp's part. He filed the case in Virginia because he wanted his name to be cleared. He said, I want to tell the truth, and so I'm willing to air out my dirty laundry to the public, but he wanted to clear his name. And then in 2020, Johnny Depp sued The Sun. So The Sun is a British tabloid who they published a bunch of articles saying that Johnny Depp was a wife beater. And because of this, Johnny Depp lost a lot of projects that he had lined up.
So he did this lawsuit against Amber Heard. This was I guess Amber Heard never explicitly said that she was being abused by Johnny, but I guess who else would she be referring to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Johnny Depp, he hasn't sued The Sun, or he did sue The Sun, but that's still like ongoing.
So that's so The Sun is the British tabloid,
right,
in Britain, and so that's when the UK trial started.
Oh,
So
okay. So that was with the Sun, not with Amber
so
Heard.
that was with the Sun, and yeah, and I had to like, look it up just to make sure that, I have my facts um accurate. But I guess the trial case was over Johnny suing the Sun and not Amber. And which he was also he lost that case, by the way, in the UK.
Okay, so that's very surprising to me because
Right.
the Sun explicitly named Johnny Depp, whereas
Uh-huh.
Amber Heard never explicitly named Johnny Depp, and yet he lost the case against the Sun and won his case against Amber Heard. I guess
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's the difference between the U.S. and
The
UK law.
UK trial system. Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know the full details of the UK trial, so I can't comment on that. But
Okay.
so, right, so 2020, Johnny Depp sued the Sun, and then it went on for years, I think. Not years, but like maybe a year. And then he lost that case, he appealed, and then the court did not allow him to appeal. I don't know the term. And then in January 2021, Amber countersued Johnny for $100 million after her motion to move the case to California was denied.
She played the Uno reverse card.
Mm-hmm. So just going back, 2019, Johnny Depp sued Amber first, in Virginia for defamation. And then I guess Amber Heard didn't want the trial to be televised. So she appealed to the court, but when it was denied, then she countersued. So April 2022, so April of this year, the trial finally began, and it lasted for 6 weeks. And it concluded on June 1st with the verdict in favor of Johnny Depp. Thank God.
Right, and as far as I know, the end result was that Amber Heard owed Johnny Depp 15 million. I guess they found that Johnny Depp might have done something slightly wrong, so Johnny Depp owes Amber Heard 2 million. So at the end of it,
Right. So the jury thought, yeah, the jury understood actually the nuances of their case. They understood that these are two people in a very toxic relationship, and I guess they both defamed each other, but more so on Johnny's side because Johnny's a bigger star. He lost like millions of dollars of worth of projects because of this. And Amber is not really, I don't fucking know her. I only knew her because she was married to Johnny Depp. And so, she was like, okay, the court was like, okay, you get $2 million for, the hassle. I don't know. But so anyway, for the 6 weeks that this trial has been going on, I've been keeping tabs on this actually for years. So do you remember? So back in 2020, the that was the year that the recordings of Amber Heard were released. And that famous photo of Johnny Depp with a severed finger. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Did I
I
show
think I
that to
remember a
you,
bit about
General?
that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember saying Breaker. Did you see that the severed finger thing?
Yeah, I remember hearing about that back in 2020, but 2020 was a very turbulent year.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was during the UK trip. That was when they released all of the evidences that Johnny Depp had against Amber Heard. I guess Johnny Depp, well, and also Amber Heard, they were both recording each other throughout their relationship, which I thought was like very weird.
That's a sign of
They
a
were
healthy relationship.
yeah. So, in the recordings that were released, we, hear Amber Heard famously saying, I wasn't punching you, I was hitting you." And so when that came to light in 2020, I was like, wait a second, maybe Johnny Depp, is telling the truth, and Amber Heard was lying about her claims of abuse. But the media was like, believe all women. And so, okay, so anyway, so the trial started in April, lasted for 6 weeks. So basically, Amber's testimony was that she was a victim of physical and emotional abuse, and that Johnny Depp would get violent towards her when he's under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and that at one point Johnny Depp.
To be fair, if you are drinking a Mega-Pint, then you're gonna be pretty fucked up. Like,
right, and then
Mega-Pint, and I've got to wash my Adderall down with a Mega-Pint, right?
an Olympic swimming pool of wine.
So,
But
anyway, yeah, and then at one point Johnny Depp, Amber Heard claimed that Johnny Depp sexually assaulted her with a bottle, which Johnny Depp said, "Wow, that is like a lie." Anyway, Johnny's testimony paints a very different picture from what Amber has been claiming for years. So according to Johnny Depp, Amber was actually the aggressor of most of the fights. She was actually the one who started the physical fights, which is backed by the recordings that was released of Amber, say, as I've said earlier, that recording of her saying, "I wasn't punching you, I was hitting you. You're such a baby. Grow the fuck up, Johnny." Was saying that.
that makes all the difference.
Oh yeah, I mean, she was just hitting. It was it's fine. So I remember hearing about this. So Amber Heard claimed that she was like being physically abused, that like Johnny was like, I don't know, like punching her in the face or something. And then there were photos of her from this time, and it didn't appear it didn't appear as though she had bruises. And then Amber Heard said that she used a specific makeup brand to cover the bruises. And there was an interesting thing here. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I was going to mention that later. That's on my notes. But yes, so Amber said that Johnny Depp hit her, broke her nose, blah blah blah, and her lawyer said that Amber was using this brand of concealer correcting kit. So the brand is called Milani, and so she actually in the court she was on the stand. No, she was. I don't know. She was standing and she was showing the jury and the judge. She was like, "This product is the correcting kit that Amber Heard was using to conceal her bruises from that she received from Johnny Depp's fist, whatever." And so Milani, that brand, went on social media, on TikTok. I don't know if you guys have TikTok accounts, if you're on there.
Chinese propaganda, no one should have it, but go ahead.
So Milani, the brand, they made a TikTok, and basically the TikTok was like, hold the fuck up. That correcting kit was not made. It was manufactured in December of 2017. All of the, and they divorced in 2016. So
Ah.
Amber's claims of abuse from Johnny would have happened in between like 2015, 2016.
So Amber Heard actually time traveled, got a concealer from a year in the
Right.
future, and then used it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, that was a fun time because I feel like that was the time when everyone on social media started waking up and they were like, wait a second, like Amber Heard is fucking lying. If the company itself said no, we didn't, we made it in 2017, Amber Heard is lying. Anyway, that was very fun. Everyone on social media was like, Amber Heard is a liar.
Well, I
Um,
think this just demonstrates your internalized misogyny. Like, why aren't you believing this women? Who
Ah,
are you?
yes. Believe all woman.
believe all woman. Um, right. Okay. So, and then, so during the trial, Johnny also said that, I guess, apparently on the night that his finger was severed, so they were in Australia during that time. Apparently, Amber got really mad because she just had a meeting with Johnny Depp's lawyer about a potential post-nuptial agreement. So Amber got really mad and threw a vodka bottle at him. It smashed and broke his finger. No, actually, not just broke his finger, cut his finger off. Like literally, the tip of his finger was
Jesus
cut off.
To
Christ.
the bone. And then the
So
security
that,
guard testified like it was literally the bone was exposed.
Ugh.
yeah, and you have like pictures, graphic pictures of that. Um, but anyway, that was, according to Johnny, that was the reason why that happened. It was because Amber got really mad that they were going to have a post-nuptial agreement. But Amber throughout this trial for years, she's been saying, "No, it's not about the money. I'm not a gold digger." But she got mad because of a post-nuptial agreement.
So I wanted to go through some of the other I guess things that Amber Heard said and did that appeared to be false statements or inaccuracies. There was a thing where she said that she had pledged some money to charity, but then
Hmm.
I guess her definition of pledge is different than actually giving money. What was like? I thought that was really it was really fascinating.
Yeah, I thought that was the highlight of the trial for me. So the issue of the 7 million donation that she said she made to ACLU and Children's Hospital. So Amber Heard went on multiple TV shows after she
And
divorced with Johnny Depp. So she's
just to interrupt very quick. That 7 million that
Mhm.
was from her divorce settlement. That's what she got from Johnny.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's what she got from Johnny Depp. That was this $7 million settlement, and she said, "I don't want the money. I will donate this between ACLU and Children's Hospital." So she's on the record, saying that, "Oh yeah, I've donated the money that I received from the settlement, split between ACLU and Children's Hospital." So, and then I think she also mentioned that in her op-ed in the that was published in the Washington Post. Um, but on the trial, we actually learned that ACLU and Children's National did not receive the donation from Amber Heard. So I guess a representative from ACLU and someone from Children's National, or I think they just sent a letter, and it was presented in court, and they said Yeah, we never received the money. But I think ACLU did receive money on her behalf. So they received $100,000 from Johnny Depp. And then someone made a 500,000 donation, I think. I'm not sure about the amount, but there's like $500,000 donation that was made in her behalf. And I guess apparently it was linked to Elon Musk because Amber and Elon dated after she divorced with Johnny Depp. But so on the trial, we see Amber and Johnny Depp's lawyer butt heads. It was really amazing. What's her name? Camille Vasquez, Johnny Depp's lawyer. The way she interrogated, Amber, they were like arguing about the definition of donation versus pledge. So Camille, the lawyer, was asking Amber, "Did you have you donated or have you paid ACLU and Children's National Children's Hospital the $7 million donation?" And then Amber was like, "I have pledged." She kept mentioning the word pledged. And then Camille was like, but donate and pledge has a very different meaning. And Amber was like, "Yeah, but I used pledge and donation synonymously," or something like that. And then she also
So they never received any money from Amber Heard, even though she went on all these talk shows and said, "I gave the money away," but they never got the money.
And she also said that in court. She specifically used the term donation, I think, in the UK trial as well. She also said that she donated the money. And then on the trial, Amber finally said, "No, I have not been able to fulfill, the donation, or like the amount that I pledged. I haven't been able to pay that because Johnny Depp sued me." And then the lawyer was like, "Miss Heard, you received the money in 2016, and Johnny Depp sued you, I think, 2019."
She had 3 years to give the money.
So, I think she received the money maybe 2017. I don't know, but yeah, she's had the money for years, or at least less than 2 years. And she never. The lawyer was like, "Miss Heard, you've had the money for like 2 years. You could have donated that as soon as you received the settlement. Why didn't you? Like, why is she using that as a reason? Johnny Depp suing her. Oh, I couldn't, fulfill my donation because Johnny Depp sued me."
Something tells me that if the Children's Hospital and the ACLU didn't receive their money previously, they're definitely not receiving their money now.
I mean, Amber
doesn't even bail her out of this one.
Yeah, and Amber Heard doesn't even have the money to pay Johnny Depp now for the $10 million settlement. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, she's $8 million in the hole.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I guess throughout the trial, almost all of Amber's claims of abuse were mostly proven to not be true by Johnny Depp's witnesses. So, there were like 3 police officers who testified, claiming that they did not see any injuries on Amber when they responded to a call that was made in Johnny Depp's penthouse. I guess after Amber and Johnny allegedly had a fight, Amber called the police saying, "Oh, my husband and I had a fight, and he attacked me or punched me or something." And then that the police officers who responded to that call, they went on the stand saying, "No, we didn't see any injuries." And then we also have Amber's personal nurse saying that she didn't really see any injuries on her. So basically, Amber is claiming that, oh, Johnny hit me and I have all these bruises and a broken nose. But no one around Amber has really seen these said injuries. Like she claimed that um on the night that Johnny Depp allegedly broke her nose, she went on James Corden a late night show. I don't know, like a promotion of a movie or something. And you can clearly see that she doesn't have any injuries. She most definitely did not have a broken nose, so.
Well, I mean, come on. She did have concealer from the future.
It's some
I
pretty
mean, that
powerful
futuristic technology.
Right. Yeah, so and then we also have Amber's ex-personal assistant testifying for Johnny Depp. So she testified in court saying that, oh, Amber is very mean towards her. She's actually very verbally abusive. And when she demanded a raise, apparently Amber Heard just laughed at her face or something.
Oh, you silly girl.
So yeah, so basically the assistant was like saying, yeah, Amber Heard is not a very good person. And then we also have Kate Moss. So Kate Moss was a very famous model, I think in the late 90s, in the 90s up until like late 2000s. She was a British model, and her and Depp, they dated for like 4 years in the 90s. So in one of Amber's claims in court, she said that Johnny and her had a fight near the flight of stairs. And I think Amber hit Johnny in the face. Amber said that it was because she was afraid that Johnny was going to push her down the stairs just like he did with his ex Kate Moss in the 90s. So Amber said that in court. And then Kate Moss, a few weeks later, went on court saying, actually, that's not true. Oh, I'm sorry. She wasn't in court. She was, I guess it was like a video call or something because she was in UK. But so she testified and she said, no, Johnny did not push me down the stairs. He didn't hurt. I mean, he didn't hurt me. Or push me down the stairs. So
this is basically lie after lie after lie
lie,
coming out of Amber Heard.
And then people saying the opposite and be like, wait, no, no, you're lying. What you're saying is not true.
And I wanted to touch on the most, I guess, the most salacious thing that everyone has taken out of this this case, or maybe the spiciest thing, I guess, that Amber Heard apparently shit on Johnny Depp's bed. What happened with this?
So
The defecation.
apparently Amber Turd. Okay, so this happened.
Amber Turd.
Yeah. So
Hashtag
oh
me
God.
poo.
Me poo. So this happened, I guess, on the day of Amber Heard's birthday, I believe. And I guess Amber planned a very like a special party for her birthday, and Johnny was late because he had a meeting with his accountant or something, or it could have been his lawyers. But anyway, he had like a very important meeting, and he was late to the party, and so Amber got really upset, and she get on his side of the bed, and then Johnny Depp's maid saw the photo. I mean, saw the shit on the bed, and then she took a photo and then sent it to Johnny Depp. And then Amber in court said, "No, actually, that is not my shit. It was actually my dog's shit because Johnny would just leave his marijuana lying around the apartment, and then sometimes the dog would like, you know, try to eat a little bit, and then he would get like diarrhea or something." And then Johnny Depp, when he talked about this during his testimony, it was like, what dog? Our tiny little Pomeranian dog? Like, the dog is so fucking small that it can't even fucking jump from the floor to the bed. You know, it's like one of those tiny dogs.
So this is like a human-sized turd, and Amber Heard is claiming that a Pomeranian produced a human-sized turd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
The
then,
shit is the size of the dog's body.
but yeah, so that's the story about the shitgate. And also, we also had the president of Warner Brothers, who owns the DC franchise, testifying for Johnny. So during the trial, Amber said that because of this case, this trial with Johnny Depp, her career hasn't been doing very good, and her screen time in Aquaman 2 was like cut into like 10 minutes, I think, because
I think you
of
mean
Johnny Depp.
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Yeah, so the Warner Brothers president went in court and he said, no, that's what Amber Heard is saying is not true. It was because she didn't have any chemistry with the lead, with Jason Momoa. That's why her screen time was cut to 10 minutes, or her screen time was reduced. It was because she lacked chemistry with Jason, with Aquaman, not because it didn't have anything to do with the Johnny Depp case.
Well, during this whole court procedure, or maybe even before it, wasn't Amber Heard saying that like Johnny Depp is so rich and so influential that he can like, I guess that like she can't even have a fair court hearing or something like that, like.
I mean, of course she would say that.
like
really, as if the president of Warner Brothers would be on Johnny Depp's payroll. that Warner Brothers president is probably richer than Johnny Depp.
No. See,
Yeah,
Johnny Depp is like the Illuminati. He's actually behind everything.
God.
He controls everything.
Yeah, then I think the most interesting witness in this case is Whitney Heard's friend, Jennifer Howell. So Whitney is Amber Heard's sister. So Whitney testified for Amber against Johnny, and he said that, well, I guess she just backed Amber's story about the stairs, about Johnny and Amber fighting in the stairs, and Amber being scared for her life or whatever. So this friend, Jennifer Howell, she's not a friend of Amber, she's not a friend of Johnny, she's a friend of Whitney. And this Jennifer Howell, she said, I'm not doing this for neither Johnny or Amber. I'm doing this for my friend Whitney because she believes that Whitney is not doing the right thing here. He said that actually Whitney confided in her, saying that Whitney is actually scared of Amber. And she was scared that Amber was gonna, during that night, that fight by the stairs, she was scared that Amber was actually gonna push John. She said that she was scared that Amber was planning on hurting Johnny or something like that. So she confided that with her friend. But I understand that because Amber's her sister. She has to help her, I guess, or protect her. So her story changed when she testified in court.
So
Aw, snap.
the result of all of this is that I guess the entire court case was based around the idea that that Johnny Depp was actually being defamed by what Amber Heard said. And Amber Heard never actually specifically named Johnny Depp. I mean, it was very much implied, but she never actually said that it was Johnny Depp who did these things. And it was actually surprising to some people, even those who were like diehard supporting Johnny Depp, that he did win this case because Amber Heard never explicitly named Johnny Depp. So I think it was a little bit interesting that Johnny Depp did win the defamation case. I'm glad that he did. But that is that is a little bit interesting. But the whether or not Johnny Depp was going to win the case, it didn't appear as though that was Johnny Depp's concern. He actually was more concerned about, I guess, clearing his name in the in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, and getting his dignity back. Yeah, and he actually said that. He said he didn't really care whether he wins or loses this case. He just wanted everyone, I guess us, or his fans, everyone who's been talking shit about him. He just wanted to prove that, hey, this person claiming that I'm abusing her, it's actually the other way around. And he has all the evidence. The evidence is that Amber Heard provided for the court, like that photo of her with the bruise, the two photos that she provided in court. So I guess like a professional forensic image analyst or something
I
went
remember
on
that
court.
guy.
Yeah, and he said, yeah, this looks like it was edited using like the Photos app on the iPhone. I guess
Well, yeah, he proved it didn't actually come from the origin, like the camera origin.
Mhm.
That photo was from a image editing software. It didn't have the proper INSIC or whatever he called it, the technical term for basically the ID stamp for what camera did this. It didn't have any of that. It had this Photoshop program basically as its origin.
Yeah, and the two photos that she provided, it was like literally the same fucking shot. And the lawyer was like, look, it's impossible for someone to take a photo those looking exactly the fucking same with the strand of your hair being in the same place. It's like I could take a selfie like after 1 second and it'll look very different from the last selfie that I took. But that photo that she provided in court, it looked very, very similar. And So yeah, I'm guessing that that photo was edited in using the Photos app on the iPhone, because I you can tinker with like the exposure and the brightness and the highlights of a picture to make it look redder or something, because in the other photo it looked like it was like yellowish or like white. It had like a white hue, and then the other photo looked very reddish, and so the bruise really pops out.
Oh
The
my
bruise
god.
in the photo.
So she boosted the contrast.
Yeah, so kind of like that. And you know, the image, the forensic image analyst did say that, you know, it appeared that Amber did actually do that. So, and then
I remember
Amber.
when the lawyers were arguing about that and that specific testimony by that expert,
Mhm.
and Amber Heard's attorney like went to the freaking bench and got a judgment regarding like he couldn't talk about the colors. And I was watching Nick Rekieta analyze this. Is like, okay, this is probably what they're talking about. And as it goes on in the objections that are made during his testimony, it becomes increasingly obvious that yeah, he got a bench ruling from the judge that he could object to the expert talking about the colors. But then when he cross-examines the frickin' expert witness himself, he opens the door back up to mentioning the colors like a freaking idiot. And defeated his own judgment that he got from the bench.
Is this? I think Amber's lawyer, I think, when he was in questioning one of the witnesses, was like, objection, objection, Your Honor. But it was actually his question that the witness was answering,
Yeah.
and
Th-
that was very
then
funny.
he ended up asking the very question that he had been objecting to the other lawyers trying to ask, and he opened the door back up to it like an idiot. And then he was like, on second thought, this literally happened. You could rewind the tape. On second thought, I don't think I'll ask that question. And the whole jury saw that, and they're like, wait a minute. The jury I think they kind of knew. It's like, oh, there's some funky business going on here. I don't trust
Mhm.
this.
Yeah, Amber Heard's lawyers were very I don't know. I guess Amber didn't have the budget to you know, pay for good lawyers. Like, I think this I think her name was Elaine, the lady lawyer, and she was like questioning one of Johnny's witnesses, and she was saying like, I'm trying, because she
Yeah,
couldn't
she was
come up with
questioning. She
question any.
questioned a former attorney of Johnny Depp's, and
Oh
every
right, yeah.
time she asked Johnny Depp's former attorney, the attorney in the courtroom that was actively representing Johnny Depp at the time is like, "I would advise the witness not to answer on the grounds of attorney-client privilege." And he said, "I take that under advisement." And that just kept happening over and over and over again. And I was just rubbing my temples, like, "Oh God, what the fuck?"
Well, so I remember talking to you a little bit about this, Koi. So I guess this is purely opinion, right? But it did kind of seem like Amber Heard's lawyers were just there to do a job, whereas Johnny Depp's
Mhm.
lawyers actually kind of seemed to like genuinely be on Johnny Depp's side.
Yeah, that was actually very interesting. I see a lot of like clips on TikTok and YouTube. Um, so a lot of people have observed like the behavior of Johnny Depp's lawyers versus Amber Heard's lawyers. So in this one video that I saw, uh, someone was testifying in court, and Amber was taking notes, and then someone zoomed in on the camera, and it appears as though Amber is just not really writing anything. She was just like doing these hand motions of like pretending to write anything, but the pen wasn't actually touching the paper. And then you see her lawyer behind her, like looking down, and then like sighing or something. I wouldn't say he rolled his eyes, but I I guess he did, but like he just like sighed or something anyway. And then you have, Johnny Depp's lawyers, which um you can tell that they really believe in Johnny. They really believe that Johnny Depp is telling the truth. When they did their closing arguments, or closing remarks, what do you call it? Ben Chu, the male lawyer that's been sitting right next to Johnny this whole trial, he actually choked up when he was delivering his speech, and I was like, shit. These lawyers love Johnny. They really do believe in him. So yeah, that was interesting to see, to watch.
I think, in my opinion, Amber Heard probably had activist lawyers that, at the end of the day, whether she won or lost, they're just going to make the same activistic spiel and further their own political, ideological causes, and they didn't really care about her at all as an individual.
It actually it faintly reminded me of the prosecution in the Kyle Rittenhouse court case.
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse fired his first legal team because they were activist lawyers, like Second Amendment activists, ideological activists. And the guy that he got, like, Your Honor, they're wreaking havoc, like the freaking penultimate Wisconsin guy. That guy, you could tell, and he even explicitly said, I represent clients, not causes.
Yeah. So the last thing here is, okay, obviously Johnny Depp won. Amber Heard now owes him like $13 million or maybe a little bit less. But she owes him a lot of money. I think Amber Heard probably is in no position to pay Johnny Depp at the moment. This really sucks for Amber Heard, I guess, because she doesn't have it. I guess she'll probably have to take all of the proceeds from the Aquaman sequel and just give it directly to Johnny Depp. But the other interesting thing about this is that the public opinion was so in favor of Johnny Depp on this one. Like, both the left and the right, and fucking A, they don't agree on anything. But both the left and the right, like fucking everyone, was in favor of Johnny Depp. The public opinion was kind of based in this thing. Usually public opinion not very based. This one kind of based. And also this is kind of a blow to the whole Me Too movement thing of believe all women. So even though this is like just kind of like pop culture kind of gossip sort of stuff, I think that it does have socio-political ramifications.
I would probably agree with that. What became of Coiii?
Well, at least that's my take. But with that, Coiii, do you have anything else that you would like to add in terms of the outcome of this case?
Um, no, I don't really want to disclose my spicy takes on this issue, but I mean, I have nothing else to add.
Okay, right. Yeah, just pure facts, no opinions. Okay.
No.
All right. Well, with that, I guess. Thank you very much for giving us information and insight onto this court case that has captured the attention of so many Americans. And yeah, I appreciate you for coming on and telling us what you know. And with that, I guess we'll move on, and you can dip out. So thank you, and that is our I guess our senior pop culture correspondent.
Correspondent. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. I think I think that I haven't been paying attention to the case that much, but it does I think it at least red pilled some normies. So I think it's a good thing, and I am genuinely glad that that Johnny Depp won, because Amber Heard seems like kind of a cunt.
Yeah, most of my interest in the case was through watching Nick Rekieta on the Rekieta Law YouTube channel. He's also on Odyssey, so shout-outs to Nick Rekieta, which is where the vast majority of my information about the trial comes from.
Yeah. All right. So that was most of the main stories that we had to get into. So that's it's the probably the most important bits. But also as we like to do here, we like to just have some fucking kind of out there harebrained ideas that may be insightful, maybe not. So I wanted to talk about, and I was talking about this with you, Breaker, on Wednesday. What is a dollar?
What is a dollar? Well, I guess the best definition of a dollar would be some type of discretized unit of value.
I think I think that you're right, but I think that a dollar has, or any unit of currency, any unit, oh shit. We have
Parallax has joined us.
We have
He knows about
Parallax.
economics. He might have some insight into this particular part of the conversation.
I
Hey.
just heard something about a dollar being somebody believing it's a discretized unit of something
Value.
value. I wouldn't say it's value so much as trust.
That's an important distinction.
I believe that it may be neither.
Okay.
So I think that a dollar or any currency, it's like this. It's a unit, essentially. It's a unit that can simultaneously interact with every single aspect of the market and have a relationship between all aspects of the market simultaneously. And that is what the dollar is. So, for instance, a car is worth however many dollars, which is worth however many microwaves, which is worth however many seashells, which is worth however many airplanes. A dollar unites every single aspect of the economy together with this one, like, almost like fucking like thing that is like in a almost like a quantum state of like tying together the entire economy. Yeah.
You could do that with anything, though.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't have to be a dollar. It could be a ruble.
It has to be something that's like an agreed upon representation of the underlying value that the physical commodity, the dollar, ultimately represents. It could be rubles, rupees, yen, whatever, but there has to be some type of underlying value structure that these pieces of paper with old people's faces on them mean something.
Well, and the important bit, and I think that this is actually healthy for the economy, is that the dollar ought be slightly inflationary, because if the dollar becomes a long-term store of wealth, then it is no longer doing the thing that the dollar should be doing. The dollar is this thing that exists in the economy that does a job. It relates everything to everything else. When people start hoarding dollars, then the dollar is no longer doing its job because it's no longer a representation of relationships between disparate parts of the economy.
I don't think that's true, though.
Okay, all right, let's get into it.
If you store dollars in your mattress, sure, but if you put it in the bank, it gets lent out, and it goes back into circulation. Even though you have a nominal value of your account, what it's supposedly worth, that money is in circulation, being used.
Well, that is true. When you have dollars in the bank in your bank, it goes right back out. But I guess in general, there's not a lot of benefit to hoarding dollars when you have a slightly inflationary economy, because why wouldn't you have literally anything else? Buy stocks, buy gold, buy anything else. The dollar is always slightly inflationary. It always slightly loses value over time. Anyone that has even a modicum of wealth doesn't want to store their money in the dollar. And I mean, especially right now when you have massive inflation.
And artificially low interest rates.
Right.
If the interest rates were high, then people would save money and make interest on it, and then they would save money for their investments rather than taking out debt and paying interest.
I think that the purpose of the dollar is that it links all parts of the economy together, and it's purely transactional. It's supposed to be a short-term holder of value, kind of like in a cell. The dollar is like ATP. It gets used and then reused and reused constantly. Like a cell doesn't hold most of its energy in the form of ATP. The ATP is like the quick exchange of energy. A cell will hold most of its energy in the form of, like, I don't know, carbohydrates or fats. So that's effectively what a dollar is. Now here's the thing: when the dollar is being fucked with, say when the Federal Reserve decides that they want to print a whole bunch of dollars or do whatever it is that they like to do with dollars, the dollar is no longer able to actually fulfill its actual function in the economy. And I think that the economy, because ultimately it's built off of this basically this concept of entropy. This is actually not the thing that maximizes entropy the best in an economy. So what has ended up happening is someone built a thing that is much more difficult for a government to come in and regulate and try to print more of, and that's called a cryptocurrency. And the market, as soon as this thing was invented, the market embraced it, and it went, oh, okay, great. This is a unit of transaction that can also represent all aspects of the economy and tie everything together, but it can't be fucked with, which means that it can actually perform a better job than the Federal Reserve dollar can. And I think that that's exactly what we're seeing. Like, I think that is basically the explanation of why crypto is better than a dollar. It doesn't mean that crypto is actually a store of value. I mean, you could argue that maybe Bitcoin is. Maybe Bitcoin actually does not end up being a unit of transaction. Hell, maybe Dogecoin becomes a unit of transaction. But people are holding crypto right now because the future is not the dollar. The future is crypto. So for right now, it's a good investment. But in the probably the near future, crypto is no longer a good investment. Crypto is just a unit of transaction. And I think that is actually the healthiest state for our economy. I totally support that.
Well, technically, crypto always ultimately impinges upon the tech sector. It's fundamentally a technology in the way that a dollar can be a technology if invested in technology, but it's not fundamentally part of that sector in and of itself, whereas cryptocurrency is.
I would argue that a dollar is a technology. I mean, before a discrete unit of of exchange was available, people used the barter system. It's like, okay, like I need a pear and I have apples, but the guy who is selling pears doesn't want apples, he wants shoes. So now I have to exchange my pears for shoes so I can get the shoes, so I can give the guy the shoes so I can get an apple or a pear or whatever.
Okay, I need to more vigorously define that then, because you're right in like an essential way. A dollar is a form of techne in like the Platonic sense,
Right.
but what I was referring to, what I said a technology as, is that it's part of the tech sector of the economy.
I mean, it's definitely like it's dependent on like computers and the internet
And electricity.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's dependent on all of these things. Like, crypto could not have existed 30 years ago. Right. Like it's a new development. I agree with that.
I wonder what Parallax has to say about this.
Yeah, essentially the guarantees of crypto are its improved method of assuring trust. Essentially, cryptos are down right now partially because the raising interest rates tend to hurt gold. Essentially, also in the same way, what happens is investments have to unwind. Interest rates crash stocks when the debt that the leverage that was used follows certain algorithms for how much collateral you have to have. When so the debt or the interest rates rise, then the stock prices go down, and people have to either sell or they have to, which further tanks the market, or they have to put up more collateral, and usually they're leveraged to the hilt, which means that they have to sell things in order to collect or to even out their portfolios, and that tends to hurt gold and silver, and it tends to seems that it's hurting crypto as well. But that's a temporary thing because higher interest rates are generally not good for gold, but we're already in an inflationary regime, so it's actually a good time to buy.
Oh, a good time to buy crypto? Yeah, I would agree. Especially Dogecoin, because I have some Dogecoin, and so if more people buy
Not
it, then
financial advice.
not financial advice.
All
I'm
Dogecoin
saying,
doesn't have a limit on its inflation, and
uh,
more can be produced.
well, okay, but what I was
There's
saying,
no.
what I was saying previously is that actually you
Okay, go ahead.
you want the dollar to be slightly inflationary. The issue with Bitcoin is that it's actually a little bit more like gold. I think that something like Dogecoin, with its just constant slight inflationary pressure, makes it a very good candidate for just being the pure like cellular ATP sort of just transactional like quick sort of exchange. And I'm not saying that Dogecoin is actually the future. All I'm saying is that I do have some Dogecoin, and if people were to buy more Dogecoin, then I would make more money, and that would make me happy. That's all I'm saying.
Don't you think? Well, you're a little Keynesian there on monetary policy.
Whoa. That's not
if
Keynesian. No, that's selfish.
Nah, I mean with the inflationary monetary policy, that's Keynes. Who's a socialist, by the way, so I'm going to look at you differently now.
Oh, shit.
Don't you think if the interest rates were derived naturally by the market itself, the higher interest rates would encourage people not to stockpile dollars also?
Actually, I would be very much in favor of the Federal Reserve having nothing to do with interest rates. I think it should be just the free market determining what interest rates are globally. Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, the dollar wouldn't have to be inflationary in that regime. Because if there's high interest rates, you don't store your money under the mattress. You invest it.
Right. But if the dollar is not in, okay, you have three choices. Either the dollar is deflationary, the dollar is, or any currency. Let's say Dogecoin. The dollar, the Doge is deflationary, inflationary, or it's completely stable. Well, it's never going to be completely stable. That's like out of the picture. So it's either deflation,
No.
it's slightly deflationary, or it's slightly inflationary. If it's slightly deflationary, that's a problem, because then it's basically your investment is just holding as much Doge as possible. But that's not actually the purpose of Doge. The purpose of Doge is quick, rapid exchange of value. So what you actually want is basically for any currency that exists in like a in a healthy economy is slightly inflationary.
You're forcing the time preference of people, though, which is
I'm sorry,
essentially.
Go ahead.
You're kind of robot-y, Parallax.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the road.
Don't kill anybody.
Inflationary policy is you're forcing the time preference of the participants in the market, which means you're telling them not to save, which means that they get stuck not. It's counterproductive for them to save for expenses.
Well, that's
It's very fragile.
I'm not advocating for that whatsoever. I don't want any sort of policy that's enacted about how much something is inflationary. What I'm saying is that I think that if you want to have a store of wealth, then you can. You can invest in, like, let's say, a company. You can invest on the stock market, or let's say that you're not as optimistic about the future of the economy. Maybe you invest in gold. Maybe you invest in a number of things. Invest in a house. Invest in a car, although that's a terrible investment. There's lots of things that you can invest in. But I think that it's generally a bad state for an economy if you are investing in the currency itself, because that actually grinds the economy to a halt. You see this in any economy that faces deflation. What I'm saying is that we can get rid of the fucking Federal Reserve. You can basically have anarcho-capistan, and a cryptocurrency like Doge has a natural inflationary pressure that makes it so that it is constantly doing the job that it is supposed to be doing. It relates all other aspects of the economy together. So, like, how many if it, let's say that like a currency didn't exist, how many pounds of gold is a airplane worth? I don't know. I have no idea how many pounds of gold an airplane is worth. But if I have this currency, then the currency can tie together the gold with the airplane, because this currency is worth this much gold and it's worth this many airplanes, and it's all tied together. That's the point of the currency. The quick, rapid exchange is the thing that ties everything together. It lets you have information about the market, right? Whereas it would be very difficult to like just do a trade purely between gold and airplane. You wouldn't know. But with a currency, you totally have that. And you want that currency to be slightly inflationary so that it can do its job of not being itself a store of wealth. That's what you want from a currency. Like, gold is a store of wealth. Like, that's why people are not trying to trade gold. That's why
it's a store of wealth because people are not. It's a store of wealth because people. It's not the currency though, and the currency is inflationary. Like if gold was the currency, then you would simply just denominate everything in weight of gold, and that would be the denomination. It'd be no different than the number of dollars.
But the problem with actually using gold as a currency, and I'm not saying government policy here. I'm saying strictly fucking anarcho-capistan. The problem with gold, the problem with gold is that it is essentially inherently deflationary, because there is a limited amount of gold, and the economy keeps growing. The number of people on Earth keeps growing, which means that the ability to obtain gold continues to fall. So gold itself is inherently deflationary. That's why it's a store of wealth. What you want from a currency is not something that you hold on to. It's something that you it's a quick, rapid exchange, but it also does something else. It ties together all parts of the economy. which again is why let's
But
go
who
Doge.
who is the you that wants in this though? Like if you're talking about like a government, of course a government wants inflationary policy because they want people to spend and they measure their success in GDP, which can include waste. But if you're like the common man kind of thing, then like deflation is good for you. Like if um if technology and investment and competition are naturally deflationary, right? So there's some degree of deflation where people hold their money, but as people hold their money, the interest rate goes up, and then people invest their money. They're more likely to invest their money, so the interest rate goes down, and as they invest their money, it just follows a natural cycle of behavior. But it will follow the ebbs and flows of the market naturally. To force the inflation, I mean, I don't see what, not forcing inflation, but I don't see the benefit to inflation, because then the money that people are making, not just holding, goes down in value, and then you have to raise rates, and then it's a self-propelling cycle of inflation, which just
deflation might be beneficial in the short term for an individual, of course, but I think that it ultimately kind of leads to the collapse of an economy because it no longer makes sense to invest, or do a lot of trades. Like for instance, let's say that we had let's say that I have $100 and I know that a year from now, my $100 will be worth the equivalent of $150. In that case, my incentive is to not buy anything. I want to wait a year to buy something because now my money is worth more. Well, everyone has that same opinion, which means that everyone just holds and doesn't buy anything, and that's a problem for an economy because it shuts down all trade. You don't want that. What you want is just a slightly inflationary exchange of value, because that keeps everything moving. And that doesn't mean that you can't invest. That doesn't mean that like you can't store wealth. It's just that you shouldn't store wealth in a dollar. You should be, or a Doge. You should be storing wealth in other things if that's what you're so inclined to do. I'm not opposed to people making investments. Like, that's fantastic. What I'm saying is that specifically when it comes to the central currency of an economy, it is important that it is slightly inflationary. Like, that's just facts.
General Chief, this is a common criticism I bring up of you. You're kind of, in a weird way, you're kind of too nice to too many people. You give, like, massive collectives of people the same deference and benefit of the doubt you would give an individual, a reasonable, like, libertarian, like, anarchic individual such as yourself. And I don't think on, like, a massive scale you would see the type of reasonable economic decisions that you are talking about making from your point of view in all cases.
Right. You're saying that what's that criticism of economists? They don't study Homo sapiens. They study Homo logicalis or something. Like the perspective of the economist is that Homo sapiens are purely logical creatures. But for the most part, you can trust that human beings will do selfish things, especially in an economy. That's a fact.
And they'll also do stupid things, and more people will do stupid things than smart things.
Right, but that's more or less besides the point. The economy itself is a complex organism. So to a certain extent, yes, some people will be dumb about what they do with their money, but for the economy as a whole, as like this complex entity that exists, that no one can understand, because if anyone could actually understand it, then they would just become infinitely wealthy because they could completely understand the stock market and just make the best investments. No one understands the economy because it's too complex for any human or group of humans to understand. The fact of the matter is that it seems to work best with a slightly inflationary central currency. And for the most part, that is what the dollar is. But the dollar is fucked with because the government decides that it wants to fuck with it. That's not healthy for the economy to have like its central unit of exchange be fucked with. That's why something like Doge, I think, is a path forward. Doesn't necessarily have to be Doge, but I believe that is a path forward towards a healthier economy.
I think cryptocurrency is actually too transparent, and the fact that it can't be fucked with is actually a detriment. Because you need to be able to lie to stupid people, or else they buy all the toilet paper.
or like the like what Dr. Fauci advised. You don't need masks. Because he said no one needs a mask. But then it turns out that actually he thought that people do need masks. He just didn't want to tell people that they need masks because they wanted to hoard the masks for the medical workers. See, I don't think that any of that's good. Like, I'm kind of the much more libertarian. Like, you know what? You should be honest with people. The best result will come out.
Not everyone deserves. It's not that everyone doesn't deserve that you be honest with them. This is.
Sorry, Breaker, you broke up a bit there.
My signal.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. It's not a purely meretricious thing because it can't be, because not everyone is capable of exercising that level of responsibility and accountability. Most people are stupid. In any complex system, it's going to be Pareto conformal. That means 80% of the people are just going to be like kind of banging around, and sometimes they land on heads, sometimes they land on tails, and then 20% of the people are going to be the movers and shakers that need to make sure that 80% of people don't rock the whole boat and all go to one side and capsize the freaking vessel.
I disagree that we need any such authority. I think that it's a complex system. It can handle it can handle all sorts of people.
Okay, the difference is I'm not really proposing like a top-down idealistic form of authority, because you're right. You can't really like plot out a complex system in that way with that level of exactitude. What I'm talking about is something that's a type of authority that's purely naturally derived, that will kind of organically conglomerate. But if you have like this maximally transparent blockchain currency, and everyone can literally just pull up the exchange and see exactly what it's doing, and you can't obfuscate and conceal anything, that's actually not a good thing, because stupid people don't understand complex systems even less than the smart people do.
Breaker, that's precisely the argument for socialism. You see, the lowly worker, yes, he is good worker, but he does not understand greater things at play. It is the party and the leader that is wiser. He is equal but more equal, you understand? And so yes, he's the guide for everyone else, for their benefit. No, dude, fuck that shit. We've seen that play out. Not only does it ruin the economy every single time, it also just makes everyone's lives worse. Both for the lowly worker and also for like the fucking richer people. Everyone loses in that. I mean, unless you're at the head of the fucking party, there's no fucking way. And I want to point this out. When it comes to let's say the economy, right? The economy left alone to do its own things as this complex system entity that seems to just work on its own without any sort of government interference, that just seems to do its own thing. This system is based off of entropy. It's really good at dealing with supply and demand, at the distribution of it's really good at distributing scarce resources. It's fantastically good at it. It's far better than any command economy, any top-down economy. It just a free open market is incredibly good at the distribution of scarce resources. Incredibly good at it. And it works off of this principle of entropy. Fundamentally, it's an entropic system. So as far as I envision it, actually, if you just let it go and you let it do its own thing, it would distribute resources to just about every human. Now, that doesn't mean that every human being will receive exactly the same thing, of course. But what it does seem to do really well is just distribute resources to just about every human. So, for instance, the poor in America, their issue is that they actually have too many calories. Maybe not enough nutrients, there are problems. But our poor are fat. The poor in other countries are skinny and starving, right? That's the difference. Our economy are just let it go, fucking hands off. Our economy, and it's not nearly as hands off as I would like it to be, but comparing it to a socialist system.
Well, that would be Singapore, but Singapore has some type of. They have vague semblance of socialist oversights, like. Yeah, they have a tax that's basically a savings account where the government just saves the money for you, and you can do things like get medical insurance and buy houses with that money, but you can't spend it on fucking beer because you're a dumbass and you're not going to save it, and we know you're not going to save it, so we'll just save it for you. Shut the fuck up. This is for your own good.
Right, and I'm not sure if I agree with that, but my point is that the free market economic system is entropic. It will distribute resources. And in fact, I think that it is everything that the communists actually want in their end goal utopia. So I think that at the end of let's say anarcho-capitalism, maybe, the end of that where you just completely take the reins off the economy and you say, you know what, economy, you do what you will. It will actually provide resources extremely fairly to basically everyone, whereas the communists want to achieve exactly the same thing, but they want to do it through very precise human control. So, both will theoretically result in the same thing, except the communists will never get there because they just keep having to hold on. They just keep having to have control. It's like the Fight Club thing where just fucking let go. Just let go, and things will turn out better. The communists, they just have to hold on. They just keep having to have control, and it's that human level of control that always causes the system to fail. If they just let go, they would actually get what they wanted.
Yeah, you can't have this overbearing authority and control. We both agree that communism doesn't work because food and math exist. And I think the disagreement we have is that the opposite extreme of that, the absolute laissez-faire freedom, also isn't that much of a good thing when you really stop to think about it, because midwits exist and con men exist.
And the market can deal with that. So, for instance, do you think that in an ecosystem there aren't the equivalent of midwit and con man organisms? Well, that's the victory butterfly and the milk snake. Sure, yeah. And the corn snake. Those exist, but they ultimately just become aspects of the ecosystem. They don't take it over, right? They're different aspects of the ecosystem. Over time, they just become another aspect of this complex network, right? That's precisely what an economy is. Sure, yeah, you might end up with some con men. You might end up with midwits. Yeah, sure, of course. But ultimately, it's the complex system that is the economy can deal with these things in the same way that an ecosystem can. An ecosystem isn't taken over by flies that look like bees but aren't actually bees. It's not a thing. I think Parallax should get in on this. He's been quiet for a while. Unless he died. Parallax, are you still with us?
I just got back. I did die.
Yeah.
Something that procures it's too open kind of thing. An example of that is in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which uses block transactions verified and whatnot. One of the scams that I don't know if anyone's figured out how to deal with yet is people who are doing the verifying look for large transactions like buy orders or exchanges on between cryptocurrencies, and then they insert their own transaction before the other one and try to get that verified. And if they succeed, they up the price or they change the exchange rate right before the other person's transaction goes, and then they can cash out on a margin on that. And that actually introduces inefficiency because everybody can see what everyone else is doing.
Oh shit!
So this happens with anything that is a sufficiently small market with large players. So for instance, I think that there's a guy on YouTube. I think he goes by the name of the spiffing Brit.
Spiffing Brit.
Yeah, and he has an excellent YouTube channel. But basically, what he does
is a perfectly balanced game with no exploits whatsoever.
Yes, exactly, right. And so he's really good at exploiting lots of things. And he did this one YouTube video where he went on the Steam marketplace, and you can I think it was like a cucumber emoji or something, and there's the cucumber emoji was selling for some fraction of a penny, and there's maybe 1 million of them that exist on the store, and so with $100 you can buy up all of the cucumber emojis, and then you can actually shoot the price up, and then now that the price is up, you can sell off some of the cucumber emojis that you have, and you can do that because for $100 you can actually manipulate the market. Generally speaking, that produces bad results. Now, when you look at something the size of, let's say, the American economy, no company can actually buy enough American dollars to influence the price of the dollar. At least, maybe they can a bit, but it would be difficult because of how large the economy is. The only institution that can possibly do that is the Federal Reserve, and not because they can buy up a whole bunch of American dollars, it's because they can just fucking print them. So I think that what you want is you want a sufficiently large economy where you can't have that sort of level of play, like the Federal Reserve. That is bad for an economy. I agree. But let's say that Doge, for instance, got big enough that it replaced the dollar. Then no one would actually be able to buy enough Doge to properly influence its value. That's the case.
Except it can still be printed.
Well, but that's what I said. Doge is a thing that it always produces a bit of Doge over time. It is just constantly inflationary. That's actually good, right? It in and of itself does print a little bit of Doge at a time, just all the time. I agree. That's actually a good thing. But if Doge were to replace the dollar, then no one would be really in a financial circumstance where they could actually just buy all the Doge. That would be unless, I don't know, you had some merger between Amazon and Facebook and everything that Elon Musk owns and Google, and they all got together to create some sort of Frankenstein conglomerate, and they owned and also BlackRock, right? And they just all owned so many dollars that they could actually start influencing it. If that happened, that would be fucking terrible.
Which would be perfectly fine under the Ancapistan rules.
Which is why, to some extent, I'm not a full-blown anarcho-Capistani. Unless there's a better argument or a better proposal, maybe we do need a little bit of government in there, at least to have antitrust laws and maybe to provide like firefighters and police. Like maybe that's maybe we do need that.
Well, innovation and technology are inherently deflationary. So how would you propose to maintain an inflationary currency? And I'm not sold that that's a good idea at all. But the fact of the matter is that usually money supplies that aren't being tampered with are deflationary.
So let's see. You said that technology is inherently deflationary. What do you mean by that?
Technological advance, or increased efficiency, processes, new technology that competes with old technology.
But how is that inherently deflationary?
Well, what did a computer cost to send somebody to the moon, and what did your cell phone cost?
Okay, that actually sounds like it's inflationary, right?
No. You can afford things now
Well,
that
the
are more
moon computer
powerful
is
than
like,
things that you couldn't
yeah,
possibly have afforded before.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. The moon computer
in
took up a whole
relationship to the
warehouse and
dollar.
had to,
In relationship to the dollar, I mean, yeah,
no,
I guess you could say that.
in relationship to what it actually does and what it costs. Like the moon, the Apollo 11 computer was like a warehouse full of freaking shit that costed millions and millions of dollars, and it was 1/100th as powerful as the computer you are sitting in front of right now.
Yeah. Even the generation of cell phones from a few years ago that used to be like $1,100 are now like $500.
Right.
Because the
But
technology has advanced, and now that technology from then is no longer as competitive. That's deflationary. The same thing costs you less money than it did before.
yeah. When it comes to like computers, as long as they're following Moore's law,
If they're not,
they're not. But at least when they were, it might make sense to sit and wait for a year because you're going to get a more powerful computer in a year. Yeah, absolutely true. But again, people aren't exchanging computers for goods; they're exchanging dollars. It's okay for other things to be deflationary. There's no issue with that.
But the problem is cryptocurrency is intrinsically tied to
right?
technology, which is deflationary over long enough periods of time. So
No,
what if we have a whole bunch of different competing cryptocurrencies that get more and more efficient over time? Technically, it's like a type of meta inflation where now there's cryptocurrencies everywhere that inflate, deflate, hold value, do all kinds of things.
There's surprisingly little innovation across them, though. Honestly, most of them are just either meme coins or like some copy of Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Yeah, and
Like,
this is with a little tiny bit of like minimal innovation. Just imagine if cryptocurrency takes off and becomes a thing and people start investing more in innovating crypto, it's going to get even worse.
they're kind of restrained by the I don't know, the logical puzzles of trust,
Yeah,
like
the
the
blockchains take
Byzantine
time.
thing, the Byzantine network or something like that, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like it's very. These are actually very difficult problems to solve. That's why it took us so long to form cryptocurrencies at all. Most of them actually, like all these proof of stake networks, are actually kind of a reversion, like back to previous, because they actually trade energy efficiency for less trustworthiness potentially, or like big wigs have to buy into the system, and then people with enough money in some cases get to control the system. Some of them have delegated systems where you could invest into a validator and take a portion of the stake, so it's a little better, I guess, but still, they tend to be less robust because they don't have to use mathematics to prove validity as much.
Oh snap!
Well, I think that we've approached the almost I guess it's like almost 2 hours and 15 minutes. Mark,
I think we got a lot of good arguments out during the second part of the show with economics. Maybe someone listening to this will be able to figure something out.
yeah. So I think with that, we can wrap this part of the show up. I'm recovering from a stomach flu, so I might just go ahead and yeah. But yeah, it was excellent talking with you guys. Thank you for hopping on and talking with us, Parallax.
Thank you.
And yeah, with that, remember to like and subscribe. If you leave a comment, we will read it and probably respond to it. And yeah, have a good rest of the week, everyone. Peace out, Breaker.
None of this constitutes financial advice. Please seek qualified professional help.
And please buy Dogecoin. All right, peace out, everyone.
No.